Hello, and welcome to the Euro What, episode number 49 for the week of April 29th, 2019. I'm Ben Smith, and I'm joined, as always, by Mike McComb. Hey, Mike.
Hello.
We are a pair of Americans trying to make sense of the Eurovision Song Contest, and this week we'll be talking about the last 6 songs of the second semifinal. We did it, Mike. We made it to the end of the semifinals.
Oh my goodness. It's felt like such a long process this year, hasn't it?
It has, and it doesn't usually feel like this much of a journey, but
Yeah.
it's just a weird year. It's just a weird 2019 for everyone, including the Eurovision Song Contest.
Yeah, and it's creeping up fast.
Oh, yeah,
Rehearsals are starting Saturday.
Yeah, which feels weirdly early.
Yeah, I mean, they're starting a day earlier than usual. I think they've typically started on Sundays in the past, but there is a national holiday on the Wednesday of rehearsal week, so they're taking that time off. And looking at the schedule, it's kind of nice. They have it broken up. It's very compartmentalized, so all of the first round of rehearsals will happen, then they have their break, then they get into the second round of rehearsals, and then it's showtime.
Yeah, then it's
almost here.
I know. It is May this week, and somehow that just snuck up on me. There is nothing in the way of news because everybody is packing their bags to go to Tel Aviv.
Yes. So shall we talk about the 6 from the second semifinal that we need to get to? Yes.
Yeah, this is the last 6 of the second semifinal, and those are Russia, Albania, Norway, the Netherlands, North Macedonia, and Azerbaijan. So, starting things off is Russia and Sergey Lazarev with Scream.
Tears will fall, I hear them all, they scream.
So Sergey is no stranger to the Eurovision Song Contest. He last represented Russia in 2016, where he was very favored going in, and they had a very impressive presentation. He won the televote, but he finished 3rd overall behind Ukraine, who won that year, and Australia. So he may be back for revenge. He's back. Russia, after last year, kind of needed to bring in the big guns, and that's Sergey. He's a major pop star in Russia. He finished 2nd on Dancing on Ice in 2006. He won Circus of the Stars in 2008. He was in a boy band. He just has quite the resume.
Yeah, he always seems busy on his Instagram. Mm-hmm. He's a good follow. I do recommend it. And according to his IMDb, his nickname is Laser Boy with a Z. So,
I mean, if you're gonna call yourself Laser Boy, you might as well use a Z.
Sure.
And that just feels like a very self-appointed nickname, which that's not how nicknames work, Sergey.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah.
He can have this one.
Yeah, he's back with Scream, and it's a ballad. I mean, it's a perfectly serviceable ballad, if a bit overwrought. Looking at this song in the field of 18-minute semifinal, I'm like, yeah, it's going to get through. Russia, if nothing else, loves to throw money at their performances at Eurovision. But I just wonder what this is going to do in the larger field.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely Russia's brute force strategy like they used in 2008, where it's just we're going to have Olympic figure skaters and dramatic staging and just all of the things. And I have no doubt that this is going to qualify. I mean, as soon as they said it was Sergey coming back, it was just oh, okay. Yeah,
they're not messing around.
Yeah. And I'm actually really disappointed to not be in Tel Aviv because Sergey and Madonna on the same ticket. That would have been nice. But my question about this one is if it's going to be the victim of epic fatigue.
Mm-hmm. Because
this past weekend, Avengers Endgame came out,
followed immediately by the Game of Thrones big episode,
right? And the Game of Thrones finale is the same weekend as Eurovision, and I think everybody's just tired.
Everybody needs a nap.
Yeah, and if the staging is at all what the music video was, and just kind of thinking back to what the 2016 performance was, where it's just incredible visual, it's just there's just too much. And yeah, it would be nice if Russia would do something understated, but that is not in their playbook.
That is not the Russian way.
No.
But yeah, it is. I just think back to last week where we were discussing prospect of Croatia and Russia trading songs, and the more I think about that, the more I like that. But yeah, this one, I don't know, it's fine, and again, it's gonna get through. I have no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it starts at about a 9 out of 10, and it just kind of never lets up, and that's a lot for 3 minutes. You can't do anything dynamically if you just kind of start at that level.
Yeah. And if you start kind of picking at it, like just like from a composition and like the technical standpoint of it, like the lyrics are really all over the place, and there's not a relatable story going on.
Well, yeah, like we have the Dream Team behind this one,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes the Dream Team whiffs, and it's okay.
Yeah, like this is not
a
recreation of Moldova last year. So.
No. That would be very amusing, though.
Yeah, like what? Picturing that staging with
this
song playing,
and it just does not work.
Yeah, yeah. We might put that video up on YouTube. I don't.
Yeah, just trying to find the 30-second bit where that works. I don't.
It might be the end where they're
exists.
bowing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Do not think that exists.
I also just feel like people aren't talking about this one as much as other
like
entries.
It's very high with the bookies, but I don't feel like anybody's discussing it.
I don't think people necessarily hate it. I think people are underwhelmed by it, but that's not the same thing as disliking a song.
Right. Exactly.
But the expectations for this one were so high that I think it would have been nearly impossible for people to not be underwhelmed. Mm-hmm. And like I still think back to when this song debuted and like
it
instantly
dropped in the rankings.
Yeah. It took 15 minutes. It's like, oh, that's just mean.
It's mean, and like it clawed its way back, but I don't understand why. Because again, it's there, and I don't actively dislike it, but I don't actively go, yes, time to listen to Sergey Lazarev's Scream.
Yeah, it's definitely not the first thing I pick in the playlist.
No, with 41 songs, it's not the first one I go to.
I see this one playing more of a spoiler role in terms of just pulling points away from other favorites.
Yeah.
But I don't see a clear path to victory for this one.
No, because like Ukraine isn't participating this year.
Mm-hmm.
So
not that they would be getting 12 points from them.
Yeah, like the usual animosity that is present and that we don't get to talk about because Eurovision is not political.
Drink.
So that's not going to be there, but also not going to be there a lot of the SSRs. Like a lot of those former states, because like this, it's just all over the place this year.
The former SSRs will be there for giving out points.
But like, are they going to give their points to Russia? I mean, probably a few of them here and there.
I don't see this as being a block vote recipient.
No.
Yeah, like this is just another weird anomaly that is the 2019 contest. I think.
Just like everybody's in a mood and just like we're sending this.
Yeah.
And Russia is sending Sergey Lazarev, so they're doing better than some of the nations, but also that only goes so far.
The next one that we're going to be talking about is Albania and Jonida Maliqi's Ktheju Tokës. So Albania was the first to select their song back in December. Jonida won the Festivali I Kongas. She is a huge star in Albania. Prolific music career. She's a fashion icon. She's appeared on a whole bunch of reality competitions, not as a competitor necessarily, but she's been a judge on The Voice. She read the contestants for Filth on Big Brother. I still need to find clips of that. She's been at a few of the pre-party performances and has delivered a stellar vocal of this song. And the song's co-writer, Ariona Rushidi, was talking about the song in an interview recently. And her philosophy about Eurovision is that every entry should have elements of cultural heritage. Otherwise, all the songs would sound the same, which I think is a pretty good description of what is happening this year at Eurovision, which I think is one of the good things about this year's field. And I think this song definitely embodies that philosophy. The song is going to stay in Albanian, and the video was sharing the message on like how Albania is kind of coping with a brain drain that is going on there. And it's just like encouraging people to like stay in their homeland. Yeah. It's a really interesting entry. What do you think of this one?
And like, I really agree with that songwriter's opinion that like, I think the Eurovision entries that stick in my head the most are the ones that really manage to blend cultural heritage with what's going on in pop music.
Mm-hmm.
I give this one big points for staying in Albanian.
Mm-hmm.
And Albanian pop singers are having a moment right now in American pop. Like, you have singers like Ava Max, you have Baby Rexha, known as my
Your
enemy.
favorite. Yeah.
My nemesis. She's fine. She's fine. I'm a Mess is a lovely song that has worked its way into my playlist. I have been really impressed with Jonida's vocals. Like, in the pre-events that she's done, she has kind of blown me away with how well this sounds live.
Mm-hmm. If I did have one concern, it's with the styling and kind of uncertainty of the stage presentation. So back when FIK was happening in December, in the semifinal performance where it was supposed to be like Eurovision night and how this is going to be on the Eurovision stage, she had a group of dancers behind her, and like the dance really had nothing to do with the song. Like, nothing was connecting in that performance. And I was surprised that the song advanced. When she did her final performance, it was just her on stage with video playing in the background of like various cityscapes and other kind of animations. And that was a much more solid performance. Hopefully it'll be something a little bit more on the minimalism side.
I can see this working really, really well with a relatively pared back performance from Jonida, just like her at a microphone singing the song real well. And then just some big sweeping camera motions just to really work with the sense of drama that I feel like the song has.
Yeah. Effective lighting could work in this song's favor, and just really smart camera choices and just really drawing the person into the performance. And so it's more of a conversation between her and the listener, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I'm optimistic about this one. Like,
yeah,
I think
same. Like, this was literally the first song that we heard this season. And when it first came out, I'm like, okay, cool. I have no clue what this feels like in the larger field. Where is it going to slot in? And like, now that it's here, this is the one that has surprised me with like how high it is, like, climbed in my rankings. It's really grown on me.
Yeah, they did a really good job with the revamp. And I think whoever is in charge of the delegation, assuming it's the same people who revamped Albania last year, they're figuring stuff out, and it's exciting.
Yes.
I'm good job, Albania.
Yeah, you did it. Let's move on to Norway's entry this year, KEiiNO and Spirit in the Sky.
I hear you calling me at night. Never witness blind. I can see your spirit in the sky. When all the lights are dancing.
So KEiiNO is a supergroup that was created especially for NRK's Melody Grand Prix this year. I feel like at least one, if not both, of like the main singers have popped up there before. Would not surprise me. But like, just went to the lab that is the recording studio and we're like, okay, we're going to do it this year. We're going to win. That kind of is the thing I don't like about this song, is that the male vocal line and the female vocal line feel like very different songs that are just happening in the same 3 minutes. And also we sprinkled some yoik on top of it.
This one kind of reminds me of Montenegro's entry in a way where it's just like, oh, we've got 3 singers and they're all competing to
And
be
they're all
first.
here.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're doing a much better job of Montenegro of kind of figuring out, like, kind of balancing each other sort of in a rock, paper, scissors formation.
Oh yeah, no, like they're singing different songs, but the songs are cousins.
Right. Yeah, I think, I don't know how soon before Melody Grand Prix they were thrown together. I think since they were selected, they've worked together enough to kind of figure out like their strengths and weaknesses.
Now that we're definitely a unit that has to hang out until Eurovision happens.
But I mean, they're still working together. They did release a cover of "Shallow."
They did, and
last
like
week.
It is relentlessly chipper.
Yeah.
It is 30 seconds longer than the original somehow, and I dock points for sort of passing the Lady Gaga guttural line over to the yoik singer and not having another vocalist like hitting those notes too. On one hand, I don't like how the various parts of the song feel very disparate. On the other hand, I appreciate how goofy this song is in a semifinal that desperately needed some sunshine and some goofiness.
Yeah, and even though I'm not really a fan of this song, and to be fair, I wasn't really a fan of Monsters last year either, which the song is very reminiscent of, but despite my not liking it, I am fairly convinced that this could win. Not that I'm advocating for it, but
right. Oh yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Is that This doesn't feel like it's necessarily my favorite, and my opinion of it has kind of done a 180. Like when I first heard it, I had an allergic reaction, but over time I'm like, oh no, this is fun, and again, this second semifinal needs some fun, but I can totally see this being like someone's 7-point entry, and if it's a lot of people's 7-point entries, that adds up.
Yeah, I don't see this one as being super divisive. Like, me saying I'm not a fan of it is the harshest critique I've seen of this song. Like, most people are, at worst, indifferent about it. So people who like it really, really like it. So I could see this ending up, like, in these sort of 6, 7, 8, the occasional 10 position. But if you get that from, like, 40 juries and 40 televotes, that can get you more than 500 points, and I think that's going to be more than enough to win this year's contest.
Yeah.
Particularly once the gamesmanship with the juries and like all of the obvious favorites where they're just going to be like, oh, we're going to throw 12 points to Ireland? I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah, because like last year I feel like Toy just had a definitive lead, and Fuego came very close.
Yeah.
But Toy was just running laps around it in terms of sort of public perception. I don't feel like we have something that's running away with public perception this year.
Oh, no. Not at all.
We have a leader. We have, the Netherlands has been in the lead since it came out, but I don't think it had, like, I think that anything in like the top 6 or 7 with the bookies right now, it's anybody's game.
Yeah. Yeah, and like just with the various fan group polls that are coming out, the top of the field is only separated by a handful of points, like a small handful of points. So it's just like, it's going to be close. And I could see Norway just sneaking in just because everybody else is just a little too cute with how they're giving out their points. So
I appreciate what this one is doing just as kind of a much needed jolt in this part of the second semifinal. It's nice. It's slotted nicely where it's going to kind of amp things up again as we head into the end of the semi.
If and when it does get to the final, it's going to be one of the few beams of sunshine in the final too. Like,
yeah,
it's a down year. Yeah. Like this is one of the only upbeat entries.
Yeah, just everybody is just like, we are depressed, and North's like, we brought coffee. We brought coffee for everyone.
See, Denmark, that's how you read the room. So
I can totally see this one having a path to victory. It feels a little unexpected.
Yeah. Next up on the list is the Netherlands and Duncan Laurence with Arcade.
Small town boy in a big arcade. I got addicted to a losing game.
So Duncan first came to prominence on The Voice of Holland, where he was coached by Ilse de Lange. She was one half of the group that represented Netherlands in 2014. He made it, I believe, to the semifinals of The Voice, and yeah, it's just been kind of working on his craft since then. This song was internally selected, and the selection committee was instantly blown away by this song. So much so that now the various cities in the Netherlands are already drawing up hosting plans for next year in the event that Duncan is able to take the victory. So I think every country should have this. They shouldn't be like completely taken by surprise, be like, oh, we won. Now what do we do?
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not good.
No, that's not great.
Like, you shouldn't be issuing press releases about like, oh, well, The Hague has selected this park as the location of the Eurovision Village. So
it's like, hey, can you guys cool it for like 5 seconds? I know the Dutch, and I know the Dutch really love Eurovision. That's great. I love it. But also, just like, let's just wait for like five seconds. I mean, internal selection has worked very well for them. They put a lot of hype behind this song, and we're like, we're so excited about our artist and what we have cooked up. And then it came out, and I was like, okay, this is fine. This is fine. It just feels very normal in a year where everybody is just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping that it sticks. I don't want to reward just being fine.
yeah, like this is really feeling kind of like how I felt with Only Teardrops, where like everybody was instantly excited about that one. It's like, it's fine, but like just trying to get excited about it because it's like, it's very likely that it's going to win. And if they win, I'm not I'm not going to be upset about possibly planning a trip to the Netherlands next year. I think that'd be great. There's just like, I think part of it is the lyrics for this just feel so labored.
Yeah. Yes.
And like it'd be something that I would normally say, oh, could you just take like one more pass at it? But I'm just worried that they're just going to try to fit in 7 more. Yeah.
And like the one line that does it for me that I just don't like is how many pennies in the slot.
That one drives me up
because
the wall.
There is so much other thematic material that works that line just feels unnecessary.
Mm-hmm. For me, it like instantly brings in the expression of a broken lock accepts many keys, which is just so infuriating. And it also kind of reminds me of Greg Brady in the Brady Bunch movie, where he's just like carrying his guitar and his little portable amp, and he's just like, oh, hey there, groovy chick. Clowns never laughed before. Beanstalks never grew. It's just so earnest and unaware of its surroundings that it's just like, okay. So
like a metaphor that I thought of, as long as we're talking about tortured metaphors on this program, the makeup of this year's Eurovision Song Contest is just kind of the Munsters in that it's a bunch of weird, kooky things. And this is Maryland, and Maryland is fine. Maryland is beautiful. Maryland is normal amongst, a Frankenstein and a Wolfman and whatever Hatari is in this family. Yeah. And all of them are much more interesting than Maryland. Maryland does not get the good plots.
I'm also just curious, like, how is this going to be staged in...
Yes. Is it...
in a way that is going to draw in people who aren't already
on board
fans of the song. Yeah. Because I think that's the sticking point, where it's like, I'm not on board with, like, if I had a vote, this certainly would not be getting my 12 points.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and I'm just like, okay, cool. What are you going to do? You're going to just do dramatic lighting and like some water imagery on the screens? Cool. We've never seen that before.
They also aren't going to put it in like an arcade setting, because that's just way too frantic for the song.
No, you just can't. You can't stick some pinball machines and fix this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to pitch an idea here, and it's real weird, but you know what? This entry needs real weird.
Okay.
Okay, so Duncan is hooked to a crane. Just like second verse, they just start lifting it. I don't know where this goes from there, just that he's just like in the air instead of behind a piano, because they're going to stick him behind a piano. And like maybe the crane breaks midway through.
It just like drops him like into a pile of other Duncans.
Oh no. Oh, I do like that though.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah, just like what if a claw machine?
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, I thought that's what you meant. Okay.
No, I was just like, no, the crane is going to pick him up, and he's just in the air for some reason, and that never quite resolves itself. But it's a metaphor for what you ask, and that's when I disappear in a poof of smoke.
Well, I mean, if Australia's staging has Kate Miller-Heidke flying around the stage, they may already have the crane there. Mm-hmm. So,
well, exactly as long as the wiring is there.
Right.
And they used it in the first semifinal, might as well in the second.
We have the deposit for the whole week, so... call us Eurovision. We have ideas.
So. We are very affordable. Next in the lineup is North Macedonia and Tamara Todevska with Proud.
Show them what it means to stand up proudly. Tell them this is me, and thanks to you I'm proud, I'm proud, I'm proud.
So Tamara, much like Sergey, is no stranger to Eurovision. She actually competed in 2008. She finished 10th that year, which should have been good enough to get to the final, but that was that weird year where they decided, instead of letting the 10th place automatically go through, like they've done in most years, they just gave a wild card to the jury, and the jury said, no, Sweden goes through. Poor North Macedonia.
Yeah.
Because, like, they kind of get the short straw at most years. Her sister is Tihana, who represented the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia in 2014, and Tamara sang backup. Oh, and this is also the first time the country is going to be competing as North Macedonia, since they are the former Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia.
I hope they make a big deal about that, because I feel like that it's just not been talked about enough. Mm-hmm. And it's such a tongue twister. But it's interesting that you mentioned getting the short straw. Mm-hmm. I feel like this placement in the lineup was kind of a gift to, or at least a make good.
The producers were very kind to both San Marino and North Macedonia, I felt, which like both of those nations kind of working from the bottom. I mean, I think that North Macedonia is very lucky because like this is a real ballad heavy second semifinal. So to be a ballad and to get stuck in the second half and this later half in particular where there's not a ton of ballads is good for them because it means that their ballad will be at the front of your brain when it's voting time.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, the song is fine. Like, I'm so tired of that being the general consensus of like all
Do
of these
better,
songs. Like,
Europe.
it's fine. I think she's going to perform it well.
Yes.
There's video of her doing a live performance on like a morning chat show or something, and she sounds great. I'm not worried about her ability to perform the song.
No, the thing I'm worried about is that staging is not North Macedonia's forte. Last year, I was the only person in the world who liked their song, but their staging did not help.
So are you saying that if Tamara wears the backwards men's pink suit jacket, that might boost her chances?
No, that would not do well. Like history has proven I was bending over backwards to go, no, it's fine. They're going to get through in 10th place. You'll see. I was correct. No, I was wrong. I was dead wrong. This feels like a real easy staging to me. The theme of this song is empowered women, so just like put on a DVD of Captain Marvel in the backdrop.
Yeah,
Or
that
was... Gal Gadot's there. How about Wonder Woman?
Yeah, I mean, the Captain Marvel thing, like seeing that movie, and there was a montage in there of all of these young women that are standing up after falling down or getting knocked down. And as I'm watching, it's like, could they not get the rights to this song? Or like it honestly could have been playing over that.
But yeah, no, just crisp black and white footage of strong women. That's all that this needs.
I think it could work as long as it's not. Oh, when was that? Was it France's performance? Not 2016. It must have been 2015, where it's the woman singing, and then there's like the LED army behind her, like with a drum line or whatever.
Yeah,
like
something. I vaguely remember this entry.
Yeah, it needs to be like video of like actual women, nothing from the uncanny valley.
Yes,
I think this one should get through. Like I of the ballads, and
yes,
again, this is a very ballad heavy semifinal. I think it's one of the better ones, and I think it's going to be one of the stronger performances. So yeah, for North Macedonia's sake, it should get
I think they've been given a real gift in this slot in the semi. And like, there's a big wide sea of meh in this semifinal. Yeah, and I feel like they have the means to rise above and like land in 8th place or 7th place.
Something catastrophic would have to happen, and I just don't see that happening just based on the performances I've seen so far.
Exactly.
So, all right, the last entry we get to talk about from the second semifinal is from Azerbaijan. It's Chingiz with Truth.
So hard to bear, so shut up about it, shut up about it. It's just too hard to keep, so shut up about it.
So Chingiz won Azerbaijan's Pop Idol, and he also made it to the battle rounds of The Voice of Ukraine. So he definitely has the reality competition experience. He released a song at the beginning of this year that was kind of more of an acoustic space, but mixing in some modern electronic beats as well. It's a pretty interesting combination. This song was written by Borislav Milanov, who co-wrote Bulgaria's last 3 entries, and Bulgaria has been doing well for itself, so that's pretty good. And he also co-wrote Cesar Sampson's entry for Austria last year. Azerbaijan failed to make it to the final for the first time last year, so I have a feeling they're pretty hungry to get back.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, like, that felt like a shock, although... I mean, thinking about that song, like we had been saying leading up to it, like, okay,
it was on the bubble.
This kind of belongs in the jewelry ad, but it's Azerbaijan. They're good at throwing money at the problem, and they didn't do a good job of that.
Honestly, I'm kind of worried about this entry this year for kind of the same reasons I was worried about Azerbaijan last year, where we didn't really get any live performances ahead of time, like up until like when rehearsal footage was released. And like the vocal last year was fine, but the main issue is Isol, last year's representative. She's from more of a jazz background, and I think she described her sound as incorporating acid jazz. Last year's entry was not any of that. This year's entry, Chingiz seems to be coming from more of an acoustic place and not this sort of aggressive electronica influenced pop. And he seems to be rolling with it, or at least seems enthusiastic from the videos. But again, like, we haven't heard a real live vocal of it. And it just seems kind of outside, not his comfort zone, but outside his lane.
Yeah, well, yeah, because watching that clip of him at Voice of Ukraine, and then, or like a few weeks ago, I feel like Azerbaijan released an acoustic version where he's performing like guitar and a lot of the other instruments on it. It's still very much like in that lane, and then like the vocal on top is still very produced.
Yeah, like it is heavy backing track.
Yeah, where I'm like, okay, so there's this guy, and then there's the guy in the video for this song, and they're the same person somehow.
Yeah, and like his social media presence is kind of experiencing the same issue. Like he's trying to do the social media influencer persona thirst trap kind of thing. Like I don't know how the kids talk about it, but like
no. Like, you painted a beautiful word picture for me.
Yeah, or it's just certainly a word cloud.
Yeah, where
but,
where I knew exactly what you meant by trying to be an Instagram influencer and failing.
Yeah, like he released a video on Monday morning. It's him in either his apartment or a hotel room or something. He's not wearing a shirt. The chorus of Truth is playing, and he's like starting to dance to it, and he starts lip syncing to the song, which is like, okay, that's a weird choice. But then he's like, as he's dancing to it, it's like, okay, he's just like trying to get like the Eurovision fans riled up. But I'm also kind of expecting the Dance Dance Revolution arrows to start like filtering up the screen, and I don't know what to do with this information. Like it's, I want to hear what you sound like live, and I don't. I have a feeling we're going to be unpleasantly surprised.
What I think, so when Azerbaijan was sort of leading up to their announcement of their song, like they had a short list of like 3 or 4 artists, and I wonder if what had happened is they have Borislav Milanov this year with probably like 1 or 2 songs, and they just figured out which one they liked best and which artist worked best for that. And yes, he's written for Bulgaria the last 3 years, but Bulgaria kind of had diminishing returns. Like they came in second, which very good, but then they had Bones last year, and that made it through, but kind of barely. And he's also responsible for Dance Alone, which did not qualify.
Yeah,
and I think a few others where it's just like, okay, so he does have a good record part of the time. So the thing that doesn't work for me, and I think that is what's causing the dissonance for me, is that this song feels really aggressive lyrically. In a way that I don't feel I see in Chingiz's public persona.
Right. Yes. I think that's it. Like he's like just trying to be like earnest and having a great time.
Yeah,
but then
they're trying to
also,
sell
like,
us a
really
bad boy,
bad.
and like he's not a bad boy.
No. I have to wonder if this was maybe originally intended for Bulgaria, and then Bulgaria had to withdraw for budgetary reasons, and then it's like, oh well, I guess I'll just shop this around. And and maybe like speaking of Greg Brady again, like a Johnny Bravo situation where it's like, oh well, he fits the suit. So
yeah, he fits the suit, and But yeah, I'm really interested to see what this looks like at rehearsal, because the video for this is very striking, but I feel like you could also kind of put any Johnny Bravo in there and it would have been a very visually striking video.
There could be some sort of X factor that we just haven't seen yet, which would be great for Azerbaijan.
Would be lovely. Do it.
Yeah, but it just feels like they're trying to hide something or like distract us from.
Yeah, they are jingling their keys in front of us, and there's something we're not paying attention to. Looking at this field, I think this one is strong enough to get through, but this is another one where I'm just like, I don't know how this does in the large field of like 26 songs.
Yeah, and I mean, even before not qualifying last year, Azerbaijan was experiencing diminishing returns. Like they were just getting lower and lower on the scoreboard, and I can see this ultimately finishing definitely on the right hand of the scoreboard and possibly toward the bottom of the right hand side.
Yeah, there's some very strong stuff elsewhere in the field,
which is a shame because as an audio track, I do enjoy it. Like despite the aggressive lyrics, it's like, oh no, this is a jam. But
it's a jam, but like in a year where there's just a lot going on.
Yeah, it's
Okay, so this is a weird parallel, but so I was reading an article about the script spelling bee, and like it's now no longer good enough to just spell all the words in the preliminary enough. There's also a vocab test. There's also a bunch of things that before you get to the round on TV. And like it's not good enough this year to just be a jam.
Huh.
Yeah, that metaphor might not have made it, but
Well, no. I'm just thinking about it and just like, wow, like, because it's an issue that I've been having, like, just kind of conceptualizing the second semifinal, where it's just like I feel like with just about every song, it's like, oh, I don't think it's going to qualify. 10 of these songs are going to qualify.
Through the power of math, 10 of them will.
Yeah, just like, oh, well, if we just say that none of them will qualify, then that means all of them will qualify.
Something like that. Okay, so thinking about this batch of 6, this batch of 6 feels safe. The other 12 are the ones that are kind of fighting over the remaining 4 slots.
I would say maybe Azerbaijan would be number 6 in this group, but that's still number 6 out of 10. So
that's still qualifying, yeah.
Yeah. And I know Sweden and Switzerland.
Yeah, those two are
still safe. But yeah, I mean, there's still two definite wild card spots, and there could be more of that floating around. Who knows?
Yeah.
So
yeah, we jokingly said last week that this week was the bangers, and they're a real soft batch of bangers, but they're here.
Yeah. Like I don't know if I'd necessarily call Albania's entry a banger, but like in the grand scheme of things, it's like, oh, this bang, it maybe not banger. Is this where the term slaps would be used?
Yes,
These
slap.
Yes.
We're just ruining all of the slang terms for the youths at this point. I think that just about does it for this episode of The Euro What. Thank you, as always, for listening. The Euro What podcast is hosted by Ben Smith, that's me, and Mike McComb.
That's me.
You can find us on our website at eurowhat.com and on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Eurowhat. We'd love to hear your questions and comments. You can subscribe to The Euro What on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or the podcast app of your choice. Rating and reviewing the podcast when you subscribe also helps other Eurovision fans find us. Please continue doing that. We'll be back next week to try and make sense of what's new in Eurovision.